God help us.
All right. We are live. Greetings, fellow unbelievers. Once again, I'm 604 Atheist, or Neil, the 604 Atheist. And today we're talking to Grumpy Old Bugger, or at No Sacred Cows, GOP. That's his Twitter name. Do you want to tell them what your real name is, or should we keep
No, just keep it at Grumpy. Keep it at Grumpy.
Keep it a Grumpy. Okay. And we're going to do another deconversion story. Oh, for crying out loud. And then we'll talk about whatever, because apparently they don't, or he doesn't really have a huge deconversion story. It was pretty quick and simple for him, kind of like me. But anyway, I'll let you take it away, man.
Right. Okay. Let me make sure. Bouncing between things. Right. Okay. My deconversion was quite simple. I came to Canada at 65. Yeah, I'm not old.
I wasn't even born yet, man.
Yeah, well, I've been around for a bit. Yeah, I came over on a DC-8. Cool. That was rare back in that day. But when I was in, we united in Vancouver, and my family was more of a cultural Christian heritage, like most people from the UK. Mm-hmm. We celebrated Christmas, we celebrated Easter, but it's more of a cultural thing.
Right.
But, I don't ever recall seeing a Bible in my house. My parents would say, God bless and all that, and you go to bed. That's about it. But from about 7 to 10, I went to Sunday school. That was about, that was the extent of my, what's the word? Formal my formal religious upbringing was, from 3 years in Bible school, and then when we moved to the Surrey area, that stopped.
Right.
Now, when I grew up at the time, it was not. We still had prayer in school. Now, I don't know if you, So we'd have to stand up in the beginning of the day, sing "Old Canada." Mm-hmm. And recite the Lord's Prayer.
Yep.
And there were always some people who, some of the kids used to lead the class at that time. I didn't know what was going on. Later, like I said, when I was in Surrey, had quite a, there we go again. We had quite the walk to school, so quite often I was late. And then I realized, I talked to the people who were standing in the hallway, because I was late. And they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and they couldn't do it. So I began to get to understand that, okay, there's different religions, and some people don't believe. I was about 11 years old at the time, 12.
Right.
Then I was around 13. I started to think, well, I better find this God person I'm supposed to believe in. So I started praying, and I started reading the Bible from cover to cover.
Right.
And then around 14, I also came across a book called How Spacesuit Will Travel by Robert A. Heinlein.
Oh.
And that was a bit of an eye-opener. And once I was in school, I was really interested in the social studies. Mm-hmm. What's that?
That noise?
Yeah, what is that?
The fucking gardeners. Hang on a second. I'll shut the door. Yeah, I live in a complex, and every Wednesday, and I always forget this, they are always here making fucking noise all the time. Give me
there you go. Yeah. That's a bit better.
All right, that should do it.
Let's hope. Anyways, I said when I was in school, I was really interested in history, ancient history. We were studying Greek, the ancient Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians, and all that good stuff, and learning about their gods and pantheons. And I started realizing that at that early age, the stories in the Bible, and those stories are from the Greeks or the Romans or the Greeks and the Romans are basically the same story, but the Greeks and the Egyptians were quite similar, quite often the same. Mm-hmm. And by the time I was 15, I'd realized it was all bullshit and said, well, that's it, I'm done. And I was, now I did still have some spirituality things going on. I mean, I got into Tibetan Buddhism spiritualism about 15, 16, because somebody gave me a book by a guy called T. Love saying Rampart and dealing with astral projection, auras, mind reading, all that weird and wonderful stuff that was really cool when you're 16, 15 years old in the 70s. And yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Then I learned Mr. Rampart was actually a British conman. So that went out the window.
I still do this.
Yeah, not me. It makes me paranoid. It just makes me so paranoid. Last time I did it was about 10 years ago, and I'm sitting in my bed with a cigarette, and I'm thinking, where's my cigarette? Where's my cigarette? Oh. Where's my cigarette? Am I burning my... Oh. Yeah, I figured that was probably it.
Everything's on fire!
Well, I couldn't find... I didn't know it was a cigarette. Plus, I was watching a TV show with some stupid thing last half an hour ago. God, is this ever going to end? But no.
I know sometimes it's like time just slows right down.
Yeah, I thought I'm getting
in a moment.
This ain't the stuff I remember back in the 70s. But anyway,
hell no, not now. Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, what I was saying about like I was 70, that was it. I was done with God and all this, and I had a few run-ins. When I joined the Armed Forces with the reserves, I was in the Naval Reserve, and I was signing every year. Every time we got a ship to go to sea, crew up a ship, we'd have to sign a next of kin form.
Right.
And back in the day, you had to put a religion down. Now, if you put down, say, something called atheist or agnostic, and I didn't even really know what those terms meant back at the time. Mm-hmm. And one of the petty officers who didn't like you, or the chief petty officer, the buffer or the coxswain had it in for you, and here's you using the Lord's name in vain, like, fuck, oh, God damn it. He's got you for lying on a official form. It's a judgeable offense. It's never. I don't recall anybody ever being nailed with it, but it was there. You know, it could have happened. So I put down Islamic Judaism. You got to remember, this is in the late 70s, early 80s. Nobody's. This is before everybody got the knickers on the twist of Islam.
Yeah.
So I put down this down, and the only one who actually caught it was a Roman Catholic priest who came on board our ship to collect the forms. And he's going through them, and he goes, leading season so-and-so. Huh? Yes, sir. You're a fucking asshole, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He just carries on looking for more Catholics to pull to church. So, you know, but the weird thing is, I mean, even during my term in the Armed Forces, which ran about 6 years, either in the MPs or the Navy, I don't recall, again, people being religious in that time period. Not in the soldiers. I mean, I'm sure there were Catholics, there were Christians, but I don't recall anybody going to church. There was no church services that we had to go to. The only services we went to were for funerals or Memorial Day. Oh, not Memorial, sorry, Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
And in the Navy, it was the Battle Atlantic Day. That was the only time we ever did any church services. So I don't know. So that's my
now, don't they? They have them now.
Oh, they do have them. I mean, they're there if you want them. I just don't recall anybody doing it. I mean, when on one of my ships, I was a leading seaman at the time, and we were heading down to San Francisco to show the flag. And we had this young, he was 20-something years old. I was only about 18, 19 at the time. But he was a young recruit. He was a hardcore evangelical Christian. This guy was leading bloody Tijuana Bibles. You know those comic books Joe found God in a foxhole bullshit thing? Religion. Yeah, he was leaving those in our pits, in our bunks, and we were getting pissed off at that.
Wait, little comics?
Yeah, those little Christian comics. He was leaving them. We don't want that.
Chick tracks?
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We don't want that. We want Penthouse. We want Hustler. You know, we don't want
good stuff.
We want the good stuff. It's bad enough we're at sea and can't even have a good wank. It's like, you know, there's about 2 feet from the guy's ass above you in your pit. So you can't even have a good wank. And some assholes
try and hit his mattress.
Yeah, exactly. And you get these god awful chick tracks. And you can fuck off. Don't want that.
Yeah. This isn't porn. What's this shit?
Exactly. Anyways, we pulled into San Francisco, and I'm petty officer of the watch at the time for a day. And this guy comes down. He's in full uniform. Says, "Can I borrow the Coventry Climax pump and some fire hose?"
Fire hose.
Now, a Coventry Climax pump is a Coventry engine. Back in the 60s, it was a race engine. It powered Formula 3, Formula 2 cars, very powerful. And it was matched up to something called a Climax pump for firefighting. And when that sucker's at full bore, it took 5 hefty guys to hold an 1.5 inch hose down. Any less, and they get blown back. It was that powerful.
Shit. Wow.
So I asked, why do you want this damn pump? It's just part of my firefighting equipment. Why do you want this? Oh, there's a gay pride parade going on, and I want to hose down the sinners.
What?
Yeah, and I go, fuck no. Also, get out of that uniform. You go to shore, you're going to shore in your bloody civvies. I do not want you us to be associated with you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, he left us, but because we had one guy who chased him around the deck naked.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, he kept telling me it's all legal after 6 days at sea, 5 days at sea. He comes up on deck, totally stark naked, except for his beret, his bloody belt. You! It's time! And chases him around the bloody deck.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so he went back home afterwards. That was the end of his. But yeah, that was just. I mean, that was it. Even apart from running into the odd padre, that was it for my religion. Since then, it's been purely atheism. And like I said, I ran into Highlands bugs, and also Clark and others, and they had a great, big impact. I don't know if you ever read Highland's Number of the Beast.
I have not read that one.
Or Time Enough for Love. Or Stranger in a Strange Land. Thou Art God, Grok.
I think, I think I read that one way back.
Or better, one of the best one was Job, Comedy of Justice.
Oh, yes, yeah. I started reading that many years ago, and I lost the book in a move, and I don't know what the fuck happened to it.
It's a good book. You can get it downloaded. You can get a PDF file on it now. Mm. So basically, that's my deconversion story. I really never was that religious, and I fiddled around with spirituality. By the time I was 15, 20, I had enough of Christianity. By the time I was 18, I had enough of spirituality. I was done. So
you never got into any of the other weird shit, like some of the Wicca or any of that?
Oh, hell no. It was by the time I got that age, I've come to the conclusion it was all bullshit. I mean, I fiddled around with New Age for the music and some of the more humanity, whatever aspects of it, but not the spirituality. It was, it was all the same. It was, just same bullshit, different packaging.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. I think it just boils down to, you only really need one rule, right? And you harm no one, do whatever you will, right? And exactly. That includes don't harm yourself either, if you can.
Yeah, definitely. Well, more people actually harm themselves with religion than they don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of frightening.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had a couple interesting discussions right now on Twitter in regards to I said basically that religion or theism is a form of a mental disorder. And a lot of people took exception to that because they say, well, that's not a mental disease. But I said mental disorder. And I still maintain it is a disorder. It's kind of like you deny reality, what's happening. I show you the proof. I show you the evidence. But you will still believe this fairy tale.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, it is a mental. It's kind of like I go to you and say, "Sorry, mate, your wife is cheating on you." You say, "No, not happening. Couldn't be." Look, here's the evidence. Here's a video I took of her doing the deed in your bedroom with this dude, and they'll still either A, deny it. No, it's not her. It's wrong, or they'll then try to rationalize it and go into apologetics. Well, there must be a reason why she did that, blah, blah, blah. Or she must have been forced, or why, or we're taking it out of context. And again, that's religion. That's religious, the theism.
Yeah, they'll find a way. I mean, when you start talking to them, like recently with the whole Catholic Church thing and the rape of children and stuff, they don't ever, at least the ones I've spoken to, don't really ever say, oh, I know it's horrible. They always just defend their faith.
Yeah.
It's all about defending the faith.
Yeah, it's just some bad priest, or it's just a few It's just a few bad apples. Well, those bad apples.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Yeah, because they like to say, they just like to say, "Oh, he's gone. Hello."
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I'm just I'm watching the YouTube side. I just see my picture come. That's weird. Okay, it's like they just say it's just a few bad apples. It's a few bad priests. It's not the real. No.
I think we lost your video feed. That's why.
Yeah. I see. We have lost the video feed. All right, that's weird. All right. Let me just plug it in, plug it out again. Oh yeah, there we go. That might work. Oh, no, knocked the silly thing over.
No.
Is it working?
Well, you're there, but I don't have a video feed. Which is fine, but
it is fine.
yeah, because it just has your little icon thing pop up there.
Is it there? Can you see me now?
Yeah, there you are. Now you're back.
Okay.
He's back. You ghosted on me.
That was weird. I must have hit the must have turned the camera off somehow. Oh, well, it's working now. Cool.
Yep.
Anyway, so where were we?
We're talking about the whole Catholic Church thing.
Yeah. Well, my wife is Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's a very hardcore Catholic. And she's
how do you deal with that?
Well, we've come to an understanding that she hates my atheism, and I hate her Catholicism, but we don't let it bother getting between us.
Well, that's good. That sounds like, Seth Andrews, his wife is religious.
Yeah.
And I guess they did the same thing. They just came to an agreement, just
like
you guys.
Yeah. And in order to keep her family happy and her friends happy, they tell them that I'm a Buddhist.
A Buddhist. Well, he must have something.
Exactly.
Nobody can't believe in something.
That is exactly what it was when we got married. We're studying for getting our marriage license. What's your religion? Don't have one. You have to have one. Are you Catholic? Oh, hell no. And she goes, well, he's a Buddhist. Yeah, I'm a Buddhist.
That works.
That'll do. Sure. Yeah, that'll work. Put on Buddhist. That'll work.
Actually, I have a friend that I work with that calls himself a Buddhist too. Unless he's drinking, then he calls himself a Baddist. And he has this alter ego. His name's Lloyd, but when he's drinking, he calls himself Floyd. Oh, that wasn't me. That was Floyd that did that.
I don't think I want to meet him.
Just don't put Bushmills in front of him because that's his favorite. That'll turn him into a train wreck automatically right there. Starts drinking that shit. It's all over the place.
I'll stay away from it. Okay. No, but I mean, when I went first into the Philippines to go see her, we stayed in Manila. And she wanted to go to church. I thought, all right, fine. And we went over to this mall, and it had, some coffee shops and nights, and it had this beautiful church. It was an open air church with a roof over it, and it was really not well done. Now, I've been in the Philippines for about 3-4 days. We were slated to go to her province in a couple of days' time, but I've been around enough to see the poverty, the dirt, the filth, the abject poverty that is the Philippines, the majority of the Filipino people.
Right.
And I'm sitting in the church, and we're listening to the sermon, and of course, she's happy because she's now she's going to go confess or whatever it is, and the preacher is going on about the parable. I believe it was Job, who asked God about why he did this, why is he doing these horrible things to him. Job, is it Job?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's Job. That's right. Yeah, it is Job. So he asked God, why are you doing these horrible things? And God goes apeshit ballistic on him. How dare you question me? Where were you? Were you there when I created the universe and everything? Blah, blah, blah. By what right do you have to question me and what I do? And then after he's told the story in the parable, then he goes into the lesson. And the lesson he's telling them is, do not question your betters. Do not question the government. Do not question the church. Do not question your leaders. Accept things the way they are. They have your best interest at heart. We know best for you. At this point, I got up and walked out. Because I think if there's ever a population that deserved a revolution and to overthrow the status quo, it's the Philippines. And I come back in after I have a cigarette or two, and they're now passing the bloody plate around, and everybody's putting in their 10, 20 peso coins. Man, 20 pesos will buy you a meal in the Philippines, as it's Jollibee back then, a good meal. And I think these people can't afford this, and they're going to church minimum once a week, if not more. And every time they do, they're throwing their money into the coffers of this organization that's keeping them down and sucking the soul right out of them.
Yeah.
And I love the Catholic Church for that, what it's done around the world. I mean, you look at any nation where they have their grips in like South America or in Asia, you find poverty, crime, birth rates through the roof, illegitimate births. I mean, a lot of people without, having babies out of wedlock,
right?
Poverty, corruption. It's all there with the Catholic Church, where the Catholic Church is. Now, in Europe, where the Catholic Church once held sway, well, that's broken away because even Ireland's becoming more secular.
Yes,
breaking away. Italy's long since broken away from the church. Same with France. And of course, the rest of Northern Europe and England, the UK, we broke away years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost a joke. The Church of England is a Catholic Church, but it's even the Archbishop of Canterbury probably admits that, yeah, we're just culturally Christian. We play lip service to the whole thing. We're there. It's a job. We do it. You get some perks. No, we don't believe it. It's just, it's part of the culture.
Exactly. I mean, I know a guy who's a priest here, and hasn't believed in years, but he's not trained for anything else, and this makes him a decent living, so he just stays doing what he does.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people like that, and it's a hell of a good career.
Yeah, it's easy money, man.
Oh, it is. I mean, well, it can be. I mean, you got to be good at it. You got to have the gift to bring the people in, to make them feel that spirit, to come in every week and leave feeling fulfilled. You got to be a perfect salesman and con man to pull that stunt off. If you only go out half-ass, you're going to have empty pews and very little takings in your collection plate.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I could do it. Brothers and sisters, join me here today in praise of God. I could probably do it. Bring him in.
Oh, I'm sure I could do it too. I mean, my entire family, all the males of my family, we all have the gift of the gab and the gift of the bullshit. My dad could sell bloody ice makers to Eskimos.
I hear they like them though.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's a lot harder to chip your own ice out of a big block than it is just to push a button.
Yeah, true enough. But, there you go.
So, when you moved here, that was 65, you said, correct?
Yeah, it's 5 years old at the time. Gives you an idea how old I am.
Yeah, now I know exactly how old you are, because I know how old I am. And I was born a year after you got here.
You were born in 66, same age as my brother, my baby brother.
Oh, baby brother. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, he was conceived in the UK, born here. He's the only Canadian, the real Canadian out of the entire lot.
Oh, yeah, because you're born here, you're a Canadian. So
yep.
That explains why you have both the Canadian flag and the British flag in your profile thing there too. Yeah. Right on. Yeah. How long were you in the Navy for?
Was it 3.5 years in the Navy, 3.5 years in the military police, so about 7 years total. From 17 to 24. From 17 to 24 years old, 25 years old.
I find it kind of funny though, because I know that today they're fairly maybe not here so much in Canada, because I know we're more secular than a lot of other places, but it's just, I find it funny because a lot of military places that I've been actually have little chapels in them.
Oh yeah, they have them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, but they didn't force that on you, I
guess. No. I mean, I cannot recall any of the people I served with ever getting up on a Sunday when they didn't have to go to church.
Right. That one always struck me kind of weird anyways. You know, Sunday, the day of rest. Like, what the fuck does an omnipotent being need with a day of rest? You're omnipotent. You shouldn't have to rest ever. Still,
Yeah.
I don't get that shit.
He's a lazy fucker, that's why.
Yeah. Maybe just wanted a day off so he could go create something somewhere else.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah.
No, probably unlikely.
Yeah.
I don't think they exist anyways, right? I
No.
mean, who's to say any one of us was born in a different country? I could be a Muslim, you could be a Hindu, someone else could be a Jain, right?
Yeah,
a Buddhist, right? So.
Well, all religion, your religious background or your religious upbringing is based on where you're born in your culture.
Mm-hmm.
If you're born in, if you're born in the U.S. Northeast, odds are you're Catholic. You're born in the down in the South, Southeast, Southwest, quite possibly, most likely you're going to be what, Baptist?
Baptist, yeah. Southern Baptist.
Mm-hmm. And if you're from Florida, you're Jew. I joke.
And New York.
Yeah, that's it. But I would say Canada is a very secular. I mean, Canada, as a nation, we don't like to offend. We don't like to push things. We don't push anything at all, and we don't push religion.
No.
We're not. I mean, I would say probably the majority of Canadians have some religion of some sort.
Yeah.
To a degree or another, but it's just
pretty
it's not.
Here, right?
Yeah, we don't push it. It's not part of oh, well, I'm a Christian. We don't have that crap up here. Well, not much.
No. I mean, it only comes up if somebody brings up the topic.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's just, hey, how's it going, eh?
Exactly. I mean, I've dealt with people I've known for years. I'm surprised to find they're Jewish or they're Catholic. I have no clue.
Yeah, well, unless you ask. Sometimes you can tell. Like my last name, for example, is Bernstein.
So, it's definitely Jewish.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you can tell sometimes like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't been Jewish really for a long time.
Well, most North American Jews are what you call cultural Jews.
Yes, that is true. I think my family falls under that category for the most part. They observe the holidays, we get together. It's all tradition shit, but I can't remember the last time anyone in my family, other than my mom once in a blue, actually going to synagogue. Right. So
yeah, it's the same for most Christians in Canada. So they observe the holidays and and they may go to church. I mean, majority of people, especially in the Church of England, they say they go to church 3 or 4 times in their lives. Yeah. Once when they're baptized, once when they're married, and once when they're buried.
Once when they're buried, yeah. From married to buried.
Yeah, so you got the 3 times you will have to go, and the other times you go when it's only when somebody somebody else somebody's got married or died or being baptized. Hold on. Damn it! Sorry, somebody done the wrong way.
I hate that.
Yeah. So that's basically it. I think most people in Canada are just not that really into religion. Unlike our southern cousins. Yeah. Unlike our southern cousins who are just all about the religion.
Well, lots of them are, but
yeah.
The non-believers numbers are growing down there.
They are slowly, but still not enough.
True enough. I mean, I know I think it's last I heard, don't quote me on this, but I think someone was saying that most millennials nowadays identify as nuns, as they call them.
Yeah.
They don't identify with a religion.
No, but they still have some kind of spirituality or belief.
Oh, some of them are into all kinds of woo nonsense.
Yeah, well, some of them are also what you would call Christian. They call themselves Christians, but non-denominational.
True, yeah. Just I have a personal relationship. Right?
Yeah, exactly. God talks to me. We on a 101.
You might want to get some medication if that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
So you're hearing voices, are you?
Yeah, exactly. Help.
Well, all we can do is try and talk sense into them. That's why I'm going to end up doing, I think, some street epistemology videos as well at some point.
I've gone into that. I've been more towards the politics side of things now lately.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, especially in the U.S. politics, which is strange when you consider they're Canadian, but it has such an impact on us in one way or another.
It does. You're right, and there's a lot of crazy shit going on down there, politics-wise.
Yeah,
I mean, I almost get the feeling that some of these clowns are trying to turn their government into a theocracy again.
yeah. Well, they've already started it. I mean, I jokingly say, "Welcome to the theological states of America," soon to be rebranded the Christian states of the USA.
Yeah,
I mean,
some of them actually think that their country was formed on Christian beliefs when it absolutely was not.
no, the majority of the founding fathers were deists.
Yeah,
They weren't. I mean, a lot of them had some very nasty things to say about Christianity. They felt it was a horror show.
mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why they pushed for the separation of state and church is because they took a look at what happened in Europe with religion and government, and they said, "Whoa, not here, mate. No, we don't want that crap."
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, you look at what the fights between the Catholics and the Christians and the Muslims, the Catholics and the Protestants. I mean, in Europe, there were, what was it, a 70-year war? Yeah, there was bloody wars between Catholics and Protestants from what, 1400? Yeah, about 1400 onwards, 1500 onwards. I mean, you know the story of the Spanish Armada, right?
Yeah.
That was Queen Elizabeth. There you had Protestant England being invaded, or an invasion of Protestant England from a Spanish Catholic Spain. The Orange Wars up in with the Netherlands. They had the Dutch Orange, or the Protestant Dutch, fighting against the Spanish Catholics because the Spanish Catholics owned or controlled that land.
Oh, yeah.
And in France, you had various sects of Catholicism and Protestantism fighting and killing each other. I mean, for about a 300 to 400 year period, more Christians died killing each other than they did fighting against Islam or any other bloody religion. So, when they set up their Constitution and the First Amendment, they made sure they're going to separate church and state. We do not want that here. We do not want a state religion, and we don't want the trouble that as it came with it. That's what they started with.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have people trying to overwrite that, change it. They want to have a Catholic. They want to have a Christian state. They want to have an official religion. They want to be, they want their version of Christianity to be the official religion. Yes. And most of those people are evangelical Baptists. And a lot of those are what you call young Earth creationists, or
mm-hmm.
Bible literalists, and they have a lot of political power and clout. They have the ability to overturn an election, either federal or state, be it a senator, a congressman, or even a president. And they're mobilized. They are completely and utterly mobilized, and they are dedicated to their goal. And their goal is a theological state. Is to create a theological state. Doesn't matter.
It's getting fucking scary.
Well, yeah, because it will bleed up here into Canada. We had tasted that under Harper, which is weird. You figure I'm saying something against Harper because I'm a conservative, have been for years. But God, Harper and Stockwell Day, they scared the hell out of me because of their religious overtones and their ideas about bringing theology into Canada, making it part of the government. So right. What happens in the U.S. most likely will happen up here in Canada within 10 to 15 years. So we have an interest of trying to make sure it doesn't happen in the U.S.
Yes, I agree.
Shane updated me. It was a 30-year war. Thank you, Shane.
30 years of war. Yes. That's the good part about the chat is they'll always correct you when you screw something up.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to it and talk at the same time. And
I know, I glance over there as well. I just noticed that Duke showed up, Mr. Duke Bonanza.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Yo, Duke. you miserable bastard.
Christy's here. Christy's here. Ah.
Hey,
I didn't even know
Christy.
she popped in.
Casey's here. Hans is here.
Casey. Yeah.
Let's see who's
Lots of
this
people.
scroll.
Anybody got any questions they want to ask here? What do you say? That's gonna take a sec for them to hear it. So
yeah, I know it takes a while to get through. Oh, Shane's saying waving. Hi, Shane. Yeah, it's a bit of a delay, isn't there? Like 2 seconds.
Yes.
Literalist. Thank you, Christy.
Christy. Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Biblical literalists. You mean?
Yeah.
Literalists. They believe the whole thing is true.
Yes.
It's just so funny because I always say, "Fuck, come on, people! It can't be."
Well, they don't believe it's all true because one of the main arguments is they say, "Well, you're taking that out of context," or "That is allegory," or whatever. This is true. This is all true, but this is not. This is just a metaphor. So they cherry pick the verses, and they also try to ignore the ones which are a little bit iffy. There's a nice kid. Let's smack his head against a rock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Happy is he who dashes the infants against the rocks.
Yeah. Well, we had S.J. Thomason trying to say that the God was just in wiping out Sodom and Gomorrah or some of the other towns.
Or the Amalekites.
Yeah, the Amalekites.
Says you can go in there and kill all the men, women, children, and beasts, everything.
Yeah, I think part of her argument. Go ahead.
But you could keep the women, children, who have not yet been with a man.
Hey, nothing like spoils of war and rape. It's a tradition.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of that Eric the Viking movie.
Yeah, there you go. But SJ was trying to apologize her way out of that one, saying, "Well, how do we know there were children there? Or they were doing child sacrifices."
What do you mean? How do they know?
And then the other one, she says, "Well, it was a kindness because now these children went to God. They were innocent and went to God. There was a kindness to kill them." I think,
fuck's sakes,
if you have to pull that kind of, if you can pull that kind of argument out your ass, you can justify anything, and that explains the Holocaust in the 1930s and 40s.
I don't know. I keep asking them. Well, why didn't God answer any of the prayers of the children who were victims of those fucking priests that were molesting them?
Well, the ones I like is, you have a plane crash, like a 747, and the sole survivor is a baby. And everybody says, it's a miracle. God reached down and protected this child. It's God's miracle. Yeah, well, why didn't he protect all the other kids on that airplane or the other 400 bloody passengers? I mean, what's so special about this one child that it deserves to be saved?
It's a second coming.
Yeah, and then of course you never know what happens with the kid afterwards because he quickly loses. As far as we know, he grows up and goes on a murder spree.
Yeah. It's like when he gets bored, he does it, right?
Yeah.
Not enough sacrifices lately. I'm going to get these guys to wipe those guys out.
Yeah. No, this whole apologetics thing it's good for a giggle, and I do love SJ. I love SJ because she makes it so easy to make it easy. If I'm feeling lazy and I want to do a video, I just troll through some of her writings or her videos and find something to play with, and I don't know, within a day, boom, 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 done, posted.
Sure, she's definitely committed to her beliefs. That's for sure.
She is. She's committed. She should be committed. She should be committed.
If you get her away from talking about that, you can have decent conversations just about stuff in general without having to refer to that shit.
Yeah, I've heard that said, but the only time I've ever interacted with her is with this stuff. So that's the only reference I can take from it. I mean, I dealt with her. She doesn't answer my tweets anymore. Oh, we lost her.
You disappeared again, man.
Yeah, I see that. Hold on. Let me see what's wrong with it. You can still hear me, right?
Oh, yeah, I can still hear you. Yeah.
All right. Hold on. All right.
We get to see your Super Trooper little.
There you go. Is that better?
Yeah, you're back. He's back.
That's weird. It just keeps cutting out. I just have to keep turning it on and off again. Odd. It must be my a splitter here. Probably just saying, too much work.
That's the Illuminati.
Yeah, it could be.
They're trying to shut us down.
More than likely. Oh.
Well, what are these guys talking about here? I feel pretty funny that she said that we could not judge God. Well, you can't judge things that don't exist anyway. So, because everything could lead to something good, but then how can we judge God to be good? Well, you can't judge God to be good. He slaughtered millions of people. So how the fuck can that be good?
Also, there's forget the verse, but he says, "I God created this and that. And I created evil. I God, your God did these. I'm evil. I created evil. Evil is me. God up and owned evil. So
yeah, pretty much, yeah. Indeedly doodly.
Yeah.
I mean, I could pull out all kinds of Bible verses because being raised Jewish, I know all about the Old Testament.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So the old Hebrew Bible, that's where lots of that shit happens.
Yep.
It's in that Bible.
Yeah, but then they'll go and say that the New Testament did a recon the whole thing. It's a reset. God did a reset. Yet
where does it fucking say that? I don't remember seeing that.
Well, there's a later rewrite. I think it was Luke. Who came up with the kind Jesus? That was what, Luke or Mark? I can't remember. But anyway.
It's not ringing a bell. But it sounds like something that a friend of mine said too one time when I was talking to her about it. She's like, "Oh, well, they have a new covenant with God." What do you mean?
Exactly. Yeah, but it's not, because if you read what Jesus is supposed to have said, I've come.
Follow my Father's laws.
Yeah, I have not come to change one iota of the laws. I come to enforce them. By the way, here's some more you got to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that he didn't cancel any. He added more bloody laws on it. And he said, I come not to bring peace. I come with a sword. I'm going to come and kill you, motherfuckers.
The Old Testament says in it that the Messiah will come with a flaming fucking sword, ready to slaughter all the enemies of God or whatever it was.
Yeah. And then what else was it? It was, the best one I love. If you do not hate your mother or father, you're not worthy of me. If you don't hate your children, you're not worthy of me. Blah, blah, blah. Only those who hate their family are worthy of me.
Which is utterly ridiculous.
He's telling you that, you know what? Your family's nothing. You're nothing. It's all about me, me, me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yet, this is a God they say is loving and kind. This is a God that wants to take care of us. If I came across somebody like that in real life, I would shoot them.
That would kick his ass.
No, I would shoot them. I would shoot them, and I would go to court and say, this is why. And you can put me in jail, but I think I've just did the world a service.
Yeah. Put me away. I don't care. This guy's no longer out there as a threat to anyone. Yeah, I mean, if anybody, if there was a human being that showed the same attributes and attitudes of this God fellow, we would lock his ass up forever if we didn't hang him. Yeah.
We would not suffer him, and we would not suffer him to exist in our world. Yeah. He would be gone. He'd be locked up and forgotten. But because it's a religion and because it's being carried on for couple of thousand years now, it's accepted. It's
more actually if you go with the Old Testament as
well. Yeah, it's about what? Well, Christianity is what? Christianity is around 2,000 years old.
Well, yeah, give or take.
Judaism
was at least 1,000 years before. So.
Well, I think it goes back about 5,000 years.
Trying to think of what the Hebrew calendar date is, and that'll tell you.
Maybe somebody in the chat can tell us. Of course, the weird thing is you got Hinduism, which is predates Judaism by about 500-600 years, and if you go back to proto-Hinduism, predates it by about 1,500 years. Hinduism is the world's oldest surviving.
Judaism. We are in the 5,778th year of Judaism.
So I was right. Somewhere between 5,000 to 6,000 years.
Yeah.
But Hinduism has been around in one form or another for about 1,500 years or longer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then there are other religions that were around even before that too.
Yeah, but they're not major, and
No,
they're more. You know,
um,
some of them
I
may
think
have a bit of following, but not. You know.
I think the biggest may have been Zoroastrianism.
Yeah, but I mean, how many followers does that have now?
Maybe 3.
Yeah, it could well be, and they probably got it ass backwards, anyways.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean, Buddhism is about the same, just a bit. I think Buddhism is a bit older than Christianity by a few hundred years, not by much.
Yeah.
I mean, Buddha came out of India. I always wonder what would the world be like if Buddhism not only spread to the east, but spread to the west. For some reason, it never spread. Well, it came out of India, so of course, yeah.
By the time it reared its head over here, the Judeo-Christian stuff had already taken over.
Yeah, but Buddhism came out a few hundred years before Christianity, so I'm surprised it just didn't. It just seemed to migrate north and east. It never migrated west. Mind you, though, it was in Afghanistan. I mean, Afghanistan was a Buddhist nation until the Islam came in.
That's true.
So it did go out that way a wee bit. But I always wondered what the world would be like if Buddhism became the dominant religion. Probably not much.
Sure,
probably not much.
We wouldn't be throwing bombs at each other as much.
Well, I bet.
Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of, yeah. Maybe I'm a little too optimistic when it comes to stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you are. Trust me. I mean, you look at the history of China, Japan, Thailand, Burma, all those Buddhist nations. Not nice. They had no problem taking the sword to each other.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think it's, it's human nature, man. It's tribe against tribe, clan against clan. It's always been that way.
Yeah, it is, and it's a survival mechanism. Even you get down to it, even prejudice is a survival mechanism. Outdated and outmoded though it may be, but it was a survival mechanism. Same with human greed.
Yeah.
It's all a survival mechanism.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Same with, I think our sex drive is there too.
That's biological. We can't get away. I mean, that goes back to our bloody limbic, our bloody reptilian brain. Yeah, I mean, it controls the 4 F's of life: the fight, flight, food, and reproduction, aka fucking. Right?
Yeah.
That's what they taught me back in my psych criminology back. So many decades ago. Yeah, it controls the 4 F's. My professor said the limbic system controls the 4 F's of life: your fight reaction, your flight reaction, your need for food, and reproduction. And of course, it took a while for half the people to go, well, what's the 4th F? Reproduction. Oh.
Fornication, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Use that one too.
Yeah.
You don't have to get crass, although that's fun.
It's more in keeping to my nature.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, there's grumpy old Dave. Yeah, well, there's grumpy old Dave's here now.
Oh, the other grumpy one.
Isn't he in Australia?
Yeah.
G'day, mate. Australia. We love you. Amen.
Amen.
Monty Python.
Yeah, grumpy old Dave's here now too. Yeah, well, it's the chat room is going crazy. Well, sort of.
Not really. Not doing much. Wakey people. Yeah, wakey people. Say something.
Yeah, anyone got any questions? Come on, you guys, give me questions.
Yeah, give me something. Throw me a bone. I need something to work with.
G'day, Bruce.
G'day, Bruce. Now, puff us.
How you doing, grumpy old Dave? It's been a while since you've been in one of my streams there, man. It's been, you were in one, a couple of days back, I guess you popped in. Then you just kind of disappeared. No goodbye, nothing. Just kind of popped out, and that was it. Did we lose your vocals now?
No, I'm still here. I'm looking at the... okay. I'm just looking at the chat, seeing if anybody's got any questions, but nothing so far.
Dave says he's doing good. Awesome.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, so I guess we could probably wrap this up. I think we can do. Do you want to do an after party?
Yeah, why not? We can bring a few people in, I guess, if they want. Anybody want to come in?
Yeah, well, I'm going to shut this one down and reboot a new one so that we can keep this a separate entity.
Yeah,
So
sounds like.
I have different slots. Like I have the deconversions, and then I have the after party like playlists, right? So,
Yeah, sounds good.
and these things shouldn't really. I don't want these things being like 3 hours long. People will look at that and go, "Fuck, I'm not watching that. I don't have no popcorn." So.
Yeah, I don't know why. I need to make a cup of coffee anyways. I'm running out of tea.
Oh well, there you go. All right.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, guys. Very much.
Gotta have my tea.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the Britain you screaming out for tea. What kind of tea? SHI or?
Oh fuck, no Tetley.
Oh, not TWA tea.
No, Tetley Bold. The good stuff. 2 bags per cup. Make it good and strong.
I was trying to do a dad joke. My dad used to say that every time I said I wanted tea. Go, what kind? TWA. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? Oh, TWAT. Oh, I see. Ha ha ha, Dad.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Or SHI. Is that SHIT? No, Dad. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir,
got it now.
for doing this for me.
That was bad. All right. And on that very low, bad note, let's log off.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And remember, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. All right. And we'll see you guys next time for another deconversion story. And thanks again to my special guest today, the grumpy old bugger, who wasn't so grumpy today. So maybe he's having a good day. Well, he had his tea. That's probably why.
Fuck off.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. We're going to run an after party. So stick around if you want to join, and I'll send you a link. Just let me know in the chat there or in Twitter DMs, whatever the fuck. All right. And we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.